In this episode of Von Armand DIY, I want to show you how I made a Superman shirt from the 2025 movie. Here are the materials here. So now we're going to get into it. I'm going to start with the underwear and the belt of this suit. So first, of course, we start with our plain blue t-shirt right here. And what I'm going to do is, since this is for my little brother, I'm going to mark around his waist and mark his chest in order to get the logo in the belt shape perfectly placed on. So now when I got the chest marked and centered, I also now have the his waistline traced and centered on it, so now I know where to properly place it. I'm going to take some bullet textured red fabric. I'm going to use the back side because it has a better look for the underwear. I'm going to place it over the shirt and mark perfectly the length. And once I have it folded over perfectly in length, I'm just going to cut it out, cut the bottom, and cut all the extras off the side, all the extra fabric off the side. I'm gonna have it marked and centered as well, just so I know that it'll be perfect shape and size. And there it is there. It's like a long, wide sleeve. And of course, like I said, mark it centered so you know where to place it. And once I have the center size placed on, I can just sew all around. Now I just have red underwear on the shirt. Now we're gonna go with the belt, which looks like two different colors. To create that, I'm actually just going to use two different colored fabrics. These are actually like the wrong sides of both of these fabrics. One is like textured, one is like shiny gold. But I'm going to use the back of the textured fabric for the belt. It has a nice look on the inside of it, or just a nice color on the back. And basically, I'm going to have the wrong side out, sewn a belt. For the top, I'm going to have the back of this gold fabric. We're going to use it for a buckle here. Cut the buckle shape out, the back side of the gold fabric. Got it here, and I'm going to sew it on the center. I'm also going to sew it on another piece of the back of the textured fabric because it'll look nicer that way to me, so it can hide the seam, actually, of the strap. Then he also has a top layer to it. We're going to cut the back side of the gold out, cut in the insides in between out, so it can look like two different shapes with two different colors. And that'll just make it look like how the belt looks here, with looks like the middle horizontal line is different color, and that's how I get it here. Just so that once I cut the inside of the back of the gold fabric out, I got that strap. I sew it on, and now I have a belt. The buckle didn't come out as nice as I thought, so I should have traced it on, but it'll work still. I said line it up, and then I just centered it and sewed on the belt. He also has the belt holders, of course, on his suit. So I just cut the square for the back, 4 strips here to place all around the waist. And I just sewed those on there. And here it is. The red belt holders are sewn on. And the bottom, the underwear and belt, is completely done. There it is so far. You see, I got the diamond shape because now I got the logo to work on next. I'm going to use leather for the base because using leather will help it get more stiffness and look nicer. I cut out a shape of the textured fabric on the right side up this time because the texture looks nice. Pin it in place, and I'm going to sew it on. The red, of course, I'm going to trace the shape, the diamond shape, using the finished yellow piece. I have to actually draw the logo backwards because otherwise when I flip it over, the red on the right side will actually be backwards. So I have to trace it backwards, cut out the red shape, and then once I have it cut out, you see, I place it on the yellow shape. I have to place it perfectly because I want it to have a yellow outline still. But of course, I'm just going to sew it on, pin it in place, make sure it looks nice and flat and even though it didn't come out that way. But I'm still just going to sew it on from there. Like I said, it has a little wrinkle right there at the S on the side, but it's not that bad to me. It'll work. I wish it didn't, but it'll work. Of course, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place the logo in the center where I marked. And then I would just want to trace around the logo and marking lines that I use, make sure it's in place, make sure it's all lined up, because the blue will stretch out. The stretch material will stretch out. So yeah, see, like I said, marking lines, that'll help me make sure the logo is in place so that the blue shirt doesn't stretch out as I'm sewing and ruin it. Then I sew it on, then the body of the shirt is done. For the cape, I just took a long thing of red fabric, elastic strap. I'm going to stretch it out over the red as I'm sewing because I got to hold it out while I'm sewing. which is a pain in the ass because it really gets irritating. But once I get it sewn on right, it scrunches. Then I can just sew that on and the shirt is done. So yeah, here it is. My custom Superman shirt from the 2025 movie. Got the logo, underwear, belt, and the cape with the scrunched from the elastic strap. I also did the same to my Superman shirt as well for the movie because we both wanted to go in capes. And then we were ready to fly off to the movie. And it was great. Like, the wait was worth it. James Gunn just knows how to do it. Here's us in our shirts with some other guy who also chose to dress up for the occasion. Here's a picture I took of my little brother pretending to hold the AMC sign the way Superman held the car. Here's him in front of a poster at the mall as Superman. Boy, it looks cool. And when we went to Miami, we went to this Regal that had this format called 40X, and it was fun. Like, it made you move. The seats all moved around and stuff. It was, like, super fucking fun. Like, I really loved that room. I wish it was somewhere around where I live. I went as Batman this time because I forgot my Superman shirt. And this is a photo I took at a Comic-Con, actually. Or I wish we could see this in real life, but I can't wait to see what Batman they have in the DCU now. But yeah, that's my shirt. Eyes up here. Thank you for watching.